Hi there, this is Judy from paperpalmtree.com, and this is the project I have for you today. This can be found in the annual catalog for 2017-2018. This can be found on page 144. There we go. And this is where the stamp set is, and this is the inspiration. And I've copied it pretty close. I've used a red ribbon instead of yellow, and I used crumb cake instead of the red on this. But I think it's adorable, and I'm going to show you how I do the boots. So I've taken a piece of watercolor paper, and I have put it down with painter's tape on a clipboard. And with watercolor paper, because it can warp, I always tape mine down. So the inks that I've used on this is Soft Suede, Early Espresso, and Hello Honey. And so instead of using watercolors on this, I'm using the ink pads. And mainly because these colors coordinate with all of the papers from Stampin' Up. So whenever you're doing a project that you want the colors to match good, this is the way to go. And I like painting with the inks. So let me show you how I do this. So I'm going to take the Soft Suede, and I've already mounted this on a D block. These are the boots. So we're going to ink that up. And I'm going to go straight down and give it a press. And watercolor paper has, you know, a lot more texture to it than just this. The Whisper White is really smooth, and this has much more texture. So you're just going to give that a nice press and let the ink sink in a little bit, and there we go. Now on this stamp, I still have some of the Soft Suede ink, and I'm going to use that because it takes very little ink on these when you're painting with it. So I'm going to take an aqua painter, and I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of water out on this C block. And that's because I'm going to use just the stroke of this little, it's just a little inexpensive paintbrush. And so I'm going to take my Hello Honey, and a lot of people squish it out and put it onto the lid. I just do it on the edge here. These are very saturated ink pads, so I have a lot of ink in there, and it works just fine. So I'm going to wet my brush just a little bit, and I'm going to come down in the Hello Honey. And it just takes very little ink. So on the boot, I'm gonna be taking a swooping motion like this, just to give it the curvature of the boot. So I'm going to start right here at the edge, and I'm just going to bring it in just a little bit, and go all the way around the boots. A little bit more water, and I'm going to come back on this side, do the same thing. And we're going to do, you know, both sides of each boot on this. And I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so that's all of the Hello Honey. And like I said, this is Soft Suede ink, and I'm going to take the aqua painter this time, and I'm going to do a little bit of shadowing with this. And you don't want much ink. I don't want it muddied either. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to start right down, get this back in the view. I'm going to start right down here where the shadows are. And kind of make a little sweeping motion. There we go. And a little bit more for the shadows, inside of the boot. And I'm going to go just a little bit more down here. That's still wet. Okay, so I'm going to take some early espresso. Do a little tap in there. And I'm going to do the, there's some straps on here. I'm going to go just lightly on the straps. Give it some definition there. And I'm going to go with the sole of the boot with just a little bit of that darker. And the heel. And there's two little leather straps up here I'm going to do. Okay, now for the highlights really, or the shadows deeper onto the sides of the boot, I'm going to take the aqua painter and I'm just going to kind of, again with that same sweeping motion that I did with the paintbrush, I'm just going to come in just a little bit of ink. And pull it towards the center of the boot. The back side of this boot that's kind of in the shadows, I'm going to make that just a little bit darker just for the definition of where that other boot lies. Okay, and a little bit over here. And the last thing I want to do is put a little shadow. Let me do a little at the bottom of the boot here. Okay, the last thing I want to do is put where these crinkles are in the boot. It looks like the boot's kind of squished down a little bit. I'm going to put this just lightly up under each of those little wrinkles in the boot. And that gives a little more definition there. And again, with watercolor, you want to just have a light hand in it. And a little bit there on the back of the boot. I'm going to do a little up there. Alright, so I still have a little bit of shadow I want to do. I want to do kind of a dry, still got a lot of ink in it, a little bit of a dry brush, and I want to pull it towards the center of the boot again. Looks pretty good. So right here where the white is, that's the highlight of the boots that you don't want the ink in. Alright, so I think I want just a little bit more of this early espresso. Define it a little bit. Go up under the under that little go. I think that's looking pretty good. I want just a little bit more on the early espresso up here. we go. All right, maybe just a little bit more on this back edge. I think that's looking pretty good. And there's my boots. So this piece is, I'm going to let that dry. I have already done another piece, and so I have cut the boots down to 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. Okay, so this crumb cake is a 3 by 3 inch piece, and you're just going to put some adhesive on it, and I kind of move that towards the bottom so that you have a place for punching the hole up there. Okay, so this is so quick and easy to do. You can do tons of them, and in my community we have a lot of monthly dances, and I teach line dance there, and so we are hosting a dance coming up, and so I'm going to make this into table numbers. So I've just taken from the Stampin' Up! The number cutouts, and I have punched out the numbers. I put this on a piece of craft paper, just a little, it's not even really thick, and put it on a craft stick, and for each of the numbers it's going to go down in there. So I think this is an adorable little centerpiece. It's inexpensive, it's easy to make. It could be great for like a country wedding, or like I said, we do line dancing. So if that's something that your community does, or you're looking for boots, this is the one to do, because it is really cute and easy to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, if you'd hit the like button below and be a subscriber, and I'd appreciate it. So for all the products from Stampin' Up, you can go to paperpalmtree.com, and there's a shop button on the front page and on the blog, and you just click the shop button. It'll take you to the site to purchase all of the items. So one last thing, let me show you the stamp set, and this is called Country Living, and it's just got the 3 pieces in it, the boots and the truck and the guitar. And this is a great outline for any kind of watercolor painting, inking, whatever you're going to call this. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. Until next time, bye.